It's 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. Welcome to the second hour of News at Prime with me, Masa Kekana. Lots of news on the go, and we begin here at the Sawa, where we take you to Parliament, where members of the ad hoc committee probing alleged corruption in the SAPS have been grilling National Police Commissioner General Fannie Masemola. Newzroom Afrika Zoleka Qodashe joins us live. Zoleka, very good evening to you. Another very lengthy day for the National Police Commissioner. He came under fire from members of Parliament, and he went to extreme lengths to try and explain how he tried to basically mitigate this disbandment of the political killings task team, going as far as saying, I went to each and every door. But it seems some members of Parliament weren't taking that too seriously and thought he could have done more.
That's correct, Masa. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers. That is the sentiment that was shared by MPs as they put questions to the country's top cop, Fannie Masemola, essentially asking about his role in the disbandment of the political killings task team. Now, the 11 members were not convinced around his suggestion or argument or explanation about how he tried to ensure that he didn't give effect to the disbandment or the directive for the disbandment of the political killings task team. You remember that that directive came on the 31st, or the letter with the directive came on the 31st of December 2024 while he was on leave. He says then when he returned from leave on the 14th of January 2025, he then engaged his subordinates, that's Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibia, who he said he instructed to draft a plan for to give effect to this directive by Minister Senzo Mchunu. Now, he's already said that he found this to be unlawful. And so the MPs were asking, well, if that's the case, why did you not tell the minister that you could not give effect to an unconstitutional directive? You remember that in terms of the Constitution, Section 207, subsection 2, the National Commissioner has the power to control and manage the workings of the SAPS. Now, he's already said that the directive by the minister for the disbandment of the political killings task team was an encroachment. And in fact, the MPs also asked if he felt that the minister acted ultra vires, that is outside of his power, when he issued that directive. And he said, yes, he did. And the DA's MP, Glenys Breitenbach, also saying that while you are the boss, you don't account to the minister. And he said, in fact, he does. There were also disputes around the accounting authority as well as appointing authority around MPs. But there was also questions about why he waited for Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the police commissioner in KZN, to actually have that briefing to raise the alarm, and also saying that essentially he did not take action against Shadrack Sibia, who then issued an instruction to the head of crime intelligence, that's Dumisani Khumalo, for the disbandment of the political killings task team, and that all the 121 dockets that were in possession of the various stations and the political killings task team be returned to the head office in Pretoria. Let's listen to that interaction that Fannie Masemola had with the ANC's Zoleka Qodashe, who essentially asked the question about what he did around the disbandment of the political killings task team.
When I became aware of those letters, I did call him in to say, leave the matter to me, I'm attending to it. So I did rebuke him for that.
But he defied to give the matter to you, General. That's what I'm saying. And after that defiance, what steps were taken by the principal in disciplining or effecting consequence management to his junior? Because all we know now, all what is in our disposal, is that General Sibia, your deputy, was only suspended or taken to leave after the 6th of July, which is the press briefing by General Mkhwanazi. So between January and July, you were defied blatantly by your junior. What did you do about that?
Well, that time, as I said, Honorable Chair, I did call him, I think, more than once to say, stop this. And for me, it was like, yes, he will stop. But on the other side, the minister was talking to him directly. That's another angle. But for me, I did say, no, he must stop what he was doing.
Now, that was Fannie Masemola's explanation to Qola Ngola of the ANC around the action that he took in relation to the action against Shadrack Sibiya for the defiance in giving effect to what would be an unlawful instruction, but also defying the instruction of his superior. So that was in January of 2025. But then there was the meeting, the parliamentary meeting on the 5th of March 2025. You'll remember that that is when Minister Senzo Mchunu denied knowing Brown Mokhotsi after Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi had mentioned that he said that he was an associate of Brown Mokhotsi, or rather Brown Mokhotsi saying he's an associate of the minister. The minister, of course, denied that. But there's also been criticism around the Police Portfolio Committee over their inaction after the police officials appeared before the oversight body, saying that they ought to have read between the lines. But the chairperson of that portfolio committee taking great exception to this, saying that it wasn't explicit in the utterances or the presentations that were made by the three officials, that's Dumisani Khumalo, Fannie Masemola, as well as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, that there was this alleged infiltration in the criminal justice system and the workings of the SAPS. Let's listen to what Ian Cameron had to say to Fannie Masemola.
We briefed the portfolio committee on what you requested.
Spot on. So you're answering my question for how is it then fair that your department, whether yourself, anyone else, or a senior officer from legal services, to publicly accuse the police committee of failure, when it was SAPS that withheld specific information? Whether it was deliberate or not, it doesn't matter. The point is it wasn't indicated.
Well, I never listened to General Van Rooyen when he was doing that. Yeah, I'm sure we can go to the records and look at that and take it from there.
General, you can go to the records. I base this on the records, so I'm sitting with it here in front of me. And I say it specifically because Parliament and the Police Portfolio Committee will not be the scapegoat of things that wasn't disclosed by the officers in that meeting on that day.
Well, that was the interaction between the two before the ad hoc committee, but there was also instances where the atmosphere degenerated after the PAs, Ashley Souls, accused Fannie Masemola of lying in relation to Kenny Kunene, the party's deputy president, having been found at the house of the murder accused and corruption accused Katie Gatiso Mulefe. And so those were some of the instances in which MPs were kind of ruffling feathers, as well as the instance in which the ANC's MP had given a legal advice around the constitutional provisions that give the minister the powers to actually institute or give that directive for the disbandment of the political killing SARS team. MK MPs not taking kindly to that. But of course, this was the final day for Fannie Masemola before the ad hoc committee. He faced several questions from the 11 members of the ad hoc committee after giving his evidence in chief yesterday, led by the chief evidence leader, Advocate Norman Arensam, and we have adjourned for today. We expect that on Monday at 11 o'clock, we will resume with the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya, expected to have his say in the hot seat. You'll remember that he has previously said, particularly before the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, that he has done nothing wrong and that, in fact, he gave effect to an instruction that came from his immediate superior, that's Fannie Masemola. What he has to say, we'll hear on Monday. It's back to you, Masa.
Zoleka, thank you so much for that update.